How are you?
We are good, Doctor. Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, we are good.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Where,
Uh,
where, where are you, sir?
I am at EYA.
At UIA. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
so you ready? We are going to start.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. Assalamualaikum and very good evening to ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. So before we begin our webinar today, we would like to recite Umul Kitab Suratul Fatiha Al-Fatiha.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Amin ya Rabbal Alameen. We hope that with the recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha, Allah will give blessings to us and also give rahmah to us in this very evening and help us to continue this session in today's webinar. Yes, Brother Ahmad, what do you have?
So, thank you, Brother Fitri, for your recitation of the Al-Fatiha this evening. May Allah bless our program for this evening, inshallah. So, first of all, I would like to thank all of our audiences and viewers for spending your time in joining our program this evening. I would like to thank you to that. And besides that, I would like to also thank you, our guest, Dr. Muhammad Zahidul Islam, because spending his time this evening in participating in our webinar this evening. So thank you very much, Doctor.
You're most welcome.
Okay, so I would like to introduce our moderator for this webinar this evening. So first of all, I am Ahmad Birazali. I am a communication student, second year and second sem. And beside me, my partner, Fitri.
Yes, I will be co-hosting with Brother Ahmad. My name is Mohammed Fitri. I'm second year, second semester communication student.
Okay, and the most interesting of all in this program is our guest, it's himself. So he is an assistant professor of the Kuliah of Law in IUM. He also contributed in a lot of literature studies and researches and pertaining this issue of PWDs in disability inclusion. And one of his most interested study is when he conduct a study about people with disability in Bangladesh. So for you guys' information, that is how I engaged him from this article, from this paper. So next, I would like to pass to our brother Fitri.
Yes, before we start our session today, we would like to give you guys some insight in our topic today, which is some of it is SDG, which is Sustainable Development Goals, which provided by the United Nations. So the Sustainable Development Goals that we are going to talk about today is ending poverty, which is the first Sustainable Development Control. Uh, this topic is very important because we've seen now ending poverty is very important to our society because we know that United Nations has provided us the statistic, which is 10% of the population of the world is actually living in extreme poverty. This is actually unacceptable, but it is what it is. We live in this world, so that 10% that live in extreme poverty is when we talk about extreme poverty, it means that they don't have enough basic needs, something like education, shelters, and clean water, something like that. And that is how we want to end this poverty. And yeah, we are going to talk about person with disabilities. Goes to Brother Ahmed. Yes.
Okay, thank you for your excellent explanation, Fitri. So, in pair with our topic for this webinar is PWDs. So, what is PWDs? PWDs is actually a short form of person with disabilities. According to the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, include those who have long-term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairments which in interaction with various barriers may hinder their full and effective participation in society on an equal basis with others. So basically what this means is PWDs, person with disability, is a group of people um, that have several differences in their body or mental um, that can hinder their full potential in contributing to the society because they have this several disability, not like normal people. So PWDs also have mental, physical, and also intellectual and sensory. It is not just like physical, but also mental and all that. And yeah, back to you, Fitri.
Yeah, so before we begin our main question, we would like to engage a little bit more with our guest today, which is Dr. Zahid. Dr. Zahid, can I ask you a little bit a general question? What is actually your contribution in this topic? Or, I mean, can you tell us a little bit more about your research on these disabilities in Bangladesh? Yes, doctor.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. At first, I would like to thanks to Brother Fitri Ahmad Rezali for inviting me. Actually, my research on basically I have expertise on media law, communication law, okay, constitutional law, so human rights law. So under the human rights law, I did some research on disabled people, disability in Bangladesh. I think you saw the article, and I have some few articles here and there. So actually, in my article, just I tried to highlight. I tried to. It was a legal analysis actually. The law, the position of law regarding the legal right of the disabled people in Bangladesh, how the law recognizing them, and how the people recognizing them according to the law. Okay, so and I found that okay, Bangladesh they have many laws. For example, Disability Act, uh, then Disability Welfare Act, Disability Rights Act, then Legal Aid Act, many acts. Even Constitution also discuss about the equality, etc., etc. But the main problem that I found in Bangladesh, the enforcement of the law. Okay, the enforcement. If we talk about the enforcement, many reasons. Maybe they don't have enough working people to enforce the law. Sometimes maybe the people are not aware about the law. Okay, who will create this awareness? So this place is very crucial and a very big hole here for the awareness among the people of Bangladesh. And enforcement that I mentioned earlier. So I found that they have laws, but the problem is in enforcement. If they can enforce the law 100%, then it is there is a possibility to recover the poverty from the disability, and we will able to incorporate the disabled people in the mainstream of the development of the country, of the society. Yeah. Yes, Fitri.
Yes, thank you for your explanation, brother. Now we move to Mother Ahmad with our problem statement for today.
So, without before we dive in into the list of interview questions, I would like to tell a little bit about this issue in not in Malaysia only, but also in the whole wide world. So, uh, based on United Nations, in developing countries, 80% to 90% of persons with disabilities of working age are unemployed, whereas in industrialized countries, the figure is between 50% and 70%. So obviously, 80% and 90% is such a huge percentage. So this is not fair because they cannot include these person with disability. They cannot include themselves in the in workplace, in the occupation or job. So though they don't have the same opportunity as normal people in employing their job. So we would like to tackle this issue and find out why and how we could increase the person with disability employment rate. So yeah, besides that, Brother Fitri.
Yeah, based on this statistic, we've seen that there's a lot of people with disabilities. Either they are born with it or they're not born with it. Me myself, I've interacted with person with disability once, because my friends, one of him is they involved in one of the accidents and lost his leg, and that made him disabled. Which is very sad to hear, of course. But and now that brings us to the main question. We have 10 questions here, Doctor. If you, I hope you bear with us, and also for the viewers, we have your part at the end of this session, because we have a session of question and answer. But first, we are going to talk about the first question. Now, we talk about SDGs, we talk about ending poverty, and then we talk about person with disabilities. And then what we want to know next is, Doctor, can you please explain to us what is disability inclusion? Yes, Doctor.
Actually, if I talk about disability inclusion, it's very generally how we can incorporate the disabled people in our mainstream. Okay, disability inclusion means understanding the relationship between the way people function and how they participate in society, and making sure everyone has the same opportunity to the participate in every aspect of the life according to their ability and desire. So disability inclusion means we have to incorporate all the disabled people. We have to give them equal opportunity according to their ability and desire. Okay, because if we see the World Health Organization report 2011, more around 15% people for every country's population affected in they are suffering disability. Yeah, they have maybe someone suffering for visual disabled, speech disabled, physical disabled, learning disabled, mental disabled, different type of disability. So if we don't include them, incorporate them with our mainstream of this country, the development of this country, of the society, it is really difficult to go move forward or to develop our country, develop our economy without this 15%. It's huge number. Though Malaysia is not many, I think around 800 and something, 800,000 and something people with disability. The number is I think around 3%. Other countries they are 15%. Can you imagine? So if we ignore them, if we fail to incorporate them with our society, with our mainstream of the development, so it is really difficult to move forward. So this issue is very important, and we have to solve this issue according to our ability, because you brother mentioned already that some countries they have 60%, 70% people unemployed, they don't have any opportunity to work. In this situation, how we will include these disabled people? Sometimes, yeah, if they want to include but they don't have any ability. So in this case, yeah, neighbor countries, Malaysia, so other developing countries, US, European countries, they have to come, they have to help each other. Okay, otherwise it is very impossible. It is not possible for them to help to move forward. Yeah.
Okay, sir, thank you for your explanation. Now that we know that in order to move forward in our country, we need to include everyone. It doesn't matter their race, their gender, and of course, in this particular topic, we're talking about disability inclusion. We need to include them as part of our community to move forward. So that's why it is very important for us to include them in every factor in our life, in our community, because they are part of our community and society as well. So that brings us to the next question. This is very kind of personal, because to Dr. Zahid, I will ask about, do you think it is an important topic to be highlighted, and why? Because you mentioned that this is very important, right? But why is it important?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, this is important because the 50% people of a community, yeah, of a country is probably 50%. So 15%, 1 5. So for example, 10% we are doing something. If we include 5 more%, then we can do that work very fast. You understand, right? So here we have people, but we are not including them. is if we can include them, so with our mainstream, with the development of our country, then it will be easier for us to move forward. So that now the countries, they are very very concerned about the disabled people. Yes, some countries, USA, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, they have a specific law. For example, Australia, they have Disability Inclusion Act 2014. They have a specific law for the disability inclusion, because they understood, they are thinking, okay, if single person is disabled, and if we fail if we fail to include him in our mainstream, so it is problem for us. So our development will not boost, our development will slower. So everyone nowadays developing country, they want to do, but they don't have any ability to do. But they are understanding that, okay, the disabled people we have to include with the mainstream. So yeah, this is the thing we have to include it, so that is very important, and we have to think about it.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. Now that we know the importance of disability inclusion, we know that this is for the sake of our development, right? But that will also bring us to the next question, which will be asked by Ahmad. What do you have?
Okay, so thank you, Fitri, for the question, and thank you also, Doctor, for the most clear explanation. So we're moving to our next question. So obviously, every country have their own level of awareness about this particular topic, disability inclusion. So I would like to ask you, Doctor, what is the level of awareness on disability inclusion you think here in Malaysia? Thank you.
How I will measure this the level, I don't know. But if I'm from Bangladesh, I have visited some countries here and there in Asia. So my personal feeling is Malaysian position is good. Yeah, why is good? If you go to Giant or Tesco or Aeon, you will see that, okay, there is a parking for the disabled people. Okay, if you come UIA, in front of the main building, you will find first all the parking for the disabled people. If you go to the bus, train, here and there is some reservation for disabled people. Okay, not only that, if you, when you are going to Jasco, Tesco, when you are trying to park your car, when you saw that disabled people, this parking is reserved for the disabled people, you are not parking there. You are going anywhere else. So why you are doing so? That means you are aware. There is some awareness in the country, in the community. So you are doing so. So I think the Malaysian position is good. Malaysian doing well.
Oh, okay. So thank you, Doctor. So for your point of view, you think that Malaysian level of awareness about this particular issue is okay? Is okay because yeah, like you mentioned, in Aeon on in other shopping malls, they have several parking lots that reserved only for the disabilities. So okay, thank you. And we move to our next question. In this world, we have developing countries and also non-developing countries. Developing countries such as this, our country in Malaysia. So, Doctor, based on the statement by the World Bank, the majority of people with a disability live in developing countries. Why do you think it is? Thank you.
Yeah, a difficult question, I think, for me. Okay, not difficult actually. Actually, reality. How will explain the reality?
Yeah.
Malaysia. If I compare with Malaysia and Bangladesh, no, no, I'm not comparing with India. India is bigger than Bangladesh. Yeah, 20 times bigger than Bangladesh. So I want to compare with Bangladesh. So Bangladesh, the area is half than Malaysia. That means Malaysia is double than Bangladesh. You know the area. How many population do you have? Do we have? Do you know? Can you imagine? You have
Um.
you have 30 million people, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you are double than Malaysia, but double than Bangladesh. Bangladesh have 170 million people. 170 million people. We are half area, half than Malaysia. So can you imagine how crowded it is? Very, very crowded. And the thing is, different factors. For example, uneducated, okay, illiterate people. We have many people, they are not educated. Sometimes they are, maybe many people, they are educated but they are not very aware about the disability or other right or other things. Okay, so they, for the uneducated person or illiterate person, when they, if any boys, any girl, any people born with disability, maybe if he or she get the proper treatment, it is possible to recover. But they think that, okay, yeah, maybe it is very, it is from God, it is for punishment or something else, yeah. So they don't go for proper treatment. They, sometimes they go for the villagers, you know, the village citizen. They're giving some traditional medicine, etc., etc. Even they don't believe on you know, the modern technology, modern treatment, you know.
Yeah.
So it is the one reason. Another reason, yeah, that's I mentioned, proper treatment. Yeah, sometimes lack of proper treatment, the disabled people is increasing day by day. Or if they get the proper treatment, it is possible to recover. Maybe not 100%, maybe 10%, 20%, 15% can possible. Okay, so that the number is increasing. Another thing is poverty, you know, the poor people, most of the people living in poverty, under poverty line. Okay, they don't have enough food. For example, when a child birth, after the birth they need some nutritious food, right? Here, or rich family, they are provide, they are buying food for the children, cellulose, a lot of food, yeah, you know, the lot of milk from New Zealand here, and there are a lot of food we know already, right? So if you go to the village or the developing countries, even they don't know the name of this food, you know. So they are, when they born, they were healthy, they were good, but because of lack of nutrition, lack of food, after 5 years, 10 years, the disability appears. Maybe they can see very well, they can hear, or maybe their one hand is not working as a able people. Okay, so this is another reason to increase the disabled people in the developing country. I think the poor country, underdeveloped countries. Okay, this is many factor actually. For example, brother Fitri mentioned his friend got accident and he lost his leg. It is happening every day in developing countries. Okay, because the driver who was driving, they are getting driving license, but without any, without proper training, you know. Sometimes they are taking, another reason is corruption. Sometimes they are taking the driving license with giving some money and getting the driving license, no training, nothing else. So accident is happening every day here and there. So people are losing their hand, losing their leg, sometimes dying, you know. So this is the thing actually, many factors depending working behind this for the disabled people in developing countries. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your explanation. So basically, um, the one of the factors is also the population. The more
Yeah.
compact the population, the yeah, the more people that um, experience poverty, so they don't have enough education to aware this kind of issue. So thank you. And to proceed to our next question, I would like to welcome Fitri.
Yeah, so I think we know enough about disability inclusion, and this next question will actually talk about ending poverty. Now, in terms of Malaysian government, I want to ask you, Doctor, what has Malaysian government do or did that help these disabled people to end their poverty? Yes, Doctor.
Yes. Okay. Malaysian government has taken many steps to incorporate these disabled people in the mainstream of the society. Okay, to help the disabled people. For example, Malaysian government took the Malaysian plan of action for disabled people 2016 to 2022. There is a plan. They took some action plan. Okay, the plan, the objective of this plan to give recognition the disabled people, to ensure people with disabilities deserve the same rights, same opportunity, okay, same access, then to eliminate disability discrimination, okay, to do this type of things, to promote the disabled people, to promote the people, to promote the workplace, to accessible workplace. Yeah, actually Malaysian government working very hard. And the another issue I just found yesterday, that if you are employer, if you employ any disabled people, if you take any disabled people as an employee, if you pay them salary, then you will get tax exemption, because you are incorporating the disabled people. So government is very good initiative for the government. And another thing, if you are a employer, if you spend money for the your employee, disabled employee, for example, if you buy a wheelchair for your employee, if you make a stairs to make his access easy access for the employee, for this expense also you will get the tax exemption. So it is very good initiative for the government. Government trying to encourage people to recognize the disabled people. Yeah, I think even if there is there are some institution, non-government organization, some institution, for example, Kiwanis Disability Information and Support Center, Malaysian Confederation of the Disability, Malaysian Association for the Blind, Malaysian Mental Health Association, many association working for the disabled people, and government very closely helping them, yeah, to end the poverty. When these people, disabled people, will incorporate with the work stream, with the workplace according to their ability, okay, automatically it will end the poverty. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. So now that explains a lot how the government actually handle this disability inclusion and actually to end this poverty by actually one thing that they need to do is employing them and also form a organization that will help disabled people eventually. Now, I think the next question will be asked with Ahmed, Brother Ahmed. Yes.
So thank you, Brother Fitri and Doctor, for the explanation. So to continue to the next question, um, yeah, obviously besides the government, the society also needs to play an important role to, yeah, to tackle this issue about disability inclusion and poverty. So, Doctor, what is the role of society in terms of ending poverty through disability inclusion?
Yeah, actually, the community, the society, we have to play the main role. Yeah, the government is trying. It is impossible for the government alone to solve this issue. Government can enact laws, government can try to create awareness among us, but we have to play the main role. Actually, we have to aware about that. We have to recognize our disabled people. We have to recognize our people who is with disability. For example, yeah, government is trying. Government announced the tax exemption. If you are employer, if you incorporate any disabled people, then you will get tax exemption. So it is very good. But still, if we are not think about it, we are not thinking about it. Still, if we think that okay, at the interview board, we think, okay, you are disabled, how you will work, la? We will not. I think you can work, but he can work. If you go KFC, I went KFC Bangsar, one lady, she can speak, but she's good. She's able. I think she's stronger than me. But her problem is she can't speak. So she is just preparing. She's making the burger. No need to speak. No need to talk. he is skilled already. So we have to think like that. Okay, some people maybe she can hear or she can work. So no need to work. Some we have many work. We can sit and we can work. Data entry, etc. Many in official work we can do. They are graduated. They are enough skilled, enough educated. So I don't know why. What is our problem? If we see some disabled people, we think, okay, maybe he is weak, but he is not weak. We have to change our mind. Okay, if we can't change our mind to solve this issue, and government if trying, it will not solve. As a community, as a member of the community, we have to come forward. We have to move forward with the government. Then we will solve this issue very fast, inshallah. Otherwise, it is not possible. We have to increase, we have to inform people, we have to make ourselves comfortable for the disabled people. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Doctor. I also agree with your points because, yeah, besides government, society also plays the most important role because if the society itself don't want to accept these kinds of people with disability, how can the government help? So if the government if the government um, make some laws to help these kinds of people, but other people don't want to include themselves, don't want to participate in these kinds of action, it will not help. So society also plays an important role to help these kinds of people in ending poverty. So thank you, Doctor. And the next question. Um, what are the main concerns of PWDs in Malaysia in terms of ending poverty?
Yeah, I already mentioned, I think, the answer of this question. Main concern is to end of this poverty, we have to incorporate these disabled people in the mainstream of the development. We have everywhere, according to their ability. If a person with disability, he doesn't have hand, but he maybe work with other things. So according to his ability, according to his desire, we have to include him in the mainstream. Okay. So if we can successfully do it, if we can successfully incorporate all the disabled people with our mainstream, with our workplace, okay, then it will strengthen our workplace, it will strengthen our economic. So our poverty will end. Okay?
Okay, okay, thank you, sir. I'm also agree because yeah, if we include these PWDs, person with disability, it will ultimately increase the economical rate in this country. So thank you, and I would like to continue to our next moderator, Fitri. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So you've mentioned the main content about person with disabilities in Malaysia, but I also curious what is the difference in terms of the main content in Bangladesh, your country, sir, if you can.
Yeah, I actually mentioned earlier. Okay, Malaysia and Bangladesh, both countries, they are developing countries, and economic position, Malaysian position is better than Bangladesh. I mentioned we have 170 million people. Okay, every day we are feeding 170 million people, and you are feeding only 30 million people. So can you imagine our expense? So that to maintain these people, the government sending people to overseas for as a foreign worker. Okay, they're sending here and there, they are trying to utilize the people. Okay, but still our people, we have enough people, so we have many unemployed people. So in this situation in Bangladesh, we have 10% people with disability, 10% is a huge number. Yeah, here 20%, 30% people is unemployed. In this situation, how we will incorporate disabled people? They are in, if Bangladesh government also doing many things. They have the laws, they have disability, some factories established for the disabled people only. Disabled people only work there. Okay, then the government encouraging people to incorporate disabled people, you know but the main thing is the employer, the same problem. They are not interested to incorporate it or include the disabled people in the workplace. They think, okay, I am paying 10,000, I by paying 10,000 or 2,000 Malaysian ringgit, 1,000 Malaysian ringgit, I'm getting a able people, a strong people. So why I will take a disabled people? They're thinking like that. They're thinking that disabled people is weaker than able people. Sometimes the disabled people they are stronger, they are skilled from the able people, but our mindset is like that. So the problem is, the concern is the we have to change our mindset actually. The private sector, the community, we have to play the main role to solve this problem. If we can't play main role for this to solve this problem, it will not solve. In this situation, Malaysian people, Malaysian community is more advanced than Bangladesh. They are more aware. If you go to Bangladesh shopping mall, even you will, if you go some universities, you will not get, there is no lift. So if no lift in this building, 5 story building, 6 story building, if there is a student with disability, how he will go level 5? Yeah, if you go to shopping mall, there is no, it is not disabled friendly shopping mall. That means if any someone come with wheelchair, there is no way he can go inside. There is no stairs, no lift, nothing else. So who will do that? There is a law, okay? The if you make a public building, etc., etc., you have to make it disabled friendly. You have to do this, that, many things. But who cares? Nobody cares. Yeah. So in this case, in this scenario, I think Malaysia is better, far far better than Bangladesh or other developing countries. For example, India, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka. Okay, even Indonesia. I think Malaysian position is better. That because the people are very concerned about disabled people. They are very aware. Okay, I think, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor, for the explanation. So we now definitely know that no matter which country you're from, the main concerns are almost definitely the same, which is to help them. But in order
Exactly.
to help them, that is different according to their government. Some government have a different way of doing it. Malaysia have different way, and Bangladesh have different way. But in terms of that, Doctor has actually explained that Malaysia better. So we have no comment on that. But we hope that Bangladesh actually reach a better future in terms of ending poverty and disability. And now we are almost in the end of our seminar. But before that, we want to ask a question, the main question actually. So this question is about we as a Muslim who believe in Quran, believe in the Sunnah. Why do we believe that we need to help um, end poverty through disability inclusion as a Muslim in particular? Yes, Doctor.
Yeah, I think you already answered this question. As a Muslim, yeah, Islam cover life in the world and hereafter. Islam cover everything. How I will born, how I will die, how I will die from the end to the how I will eat, how I will maintain my life. Islam mention everything. So if I am a true Muslim, if I practice Islam in my life, okay, so I don't have to learn from you how I will treat a disabled people. I don't have to learn from someone else how I will treat my neighbor, because Islam already taught me how I have to maintain my life, how I have to practice Islam. Okay, as a Muslim, should I find the reason why I will help poor? As a Muslim, should I find the reason why I will help the disabled people? No. Islam, yeah, we talk about our laws, constitution, okay, equality, then no discrimination, then we have to equal people equally, okay, etc., etc. These all the things actually came from the Islamic principle, came from the Islam, okay. Islam taught us this, and now we are taking this and we are discussing this. Actually, is different issue. But as a Muslim, if we practice Islam, okay, according to Islam, if we give zakat, okay, and according to Islam, if we utilize the zakat properly, okay, then the poverty will disappear. we will not see any poverty. If we practice Islam, then we will see our disabled brother, who is the person with disability, they are getting the respect in the society, they are getting the job in the society, they are getting the same treatment in the society, they are getting the same treat in the society. Okay, who is disabled, who is able, we should not teach like that. We should not recognize like that. They are human being. I am also human being. Islam teach like this. So as a Islam, as a Muslim, I think other religion, not only Islam, other religion, I think also they didn't say, okay, kill people. Okay. So, as a Muslim, as a Islam follower of Islam, as a human being who is following Islam, I believe if we practice Islam in our life, in our daily life, then this poverty will disappear, inshallah.
Thank you very much, sir, for your explanation. And that is a very sweet way to end our interview questions today, which is we talk about the importance of Islam. Actually, if we believe, if we practice Islam, the question is, how do we take that responsibility? Do we take that responsibility to actually help these people, right? So this way, we need to understand that Islam play one of the most important part in terms of ending poverty and disability inclusion. So, uh, as I mentioned earlier, we would like to have a question and answer session with you and also with our viewer. And Brother Awan, can you lead us? Thank you.
Okay, so without further ado, we'll continue to our session of Q&A. So I would like to welcome people who, the viewers who have any questions related to this issue that can ask. Thank you. Anyone? Okay, from brother Muhammad Zakiruddin. Salam doctor, why do you interested in doing research about PWDs, especially in Bangladesh? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for a nice question. Actually, I'm from Bangladesh, so I'm working at ICOL. So basically, where am I from? I'm from Bangladesh. You are from Malaysia. So when we start our research, we try to contribute for our society first. Okay, and easy to contribute. Okay, so that I am doing research on Bangladesh only, not like that. I have completed my research on Limbaga Penapes film. The film censorship board, Malaysia, Bangladesh. Why the film is censoring. Okay, how we are protecting our society, community from the Western culture. Okay, so we have to responsible to our community, not only community, to our ummah. Yeah. So we have to contribute to our ummah. So if you contribute to the society, so it will be a contribution to the ummah. So I am ready to contribute here and there. Okay, it's Malaysia or Bangladesh, it's not matter. But I got an opportunity to research on Bangladesh, so that I did it.
So okay, thank you, Doctor, for the most explained answer. So our next question is from Sister Nurul Hanin. Excuse me, Doctor, if I may, I would like to ask this question. Okay, so the question is, in your opinion, what would be more important in terms of ending the poverty or disability inclusion? As you mentioned earlier, perhaps because of the stigma among our society that think disabled people will never be able to do anything.
Yes, sister, thank you for nice question. Yeah, actually, disabled people will not able to do like able people. It is our thinking actually. It is not true. Yeah, just a given example, KFC Bangsa, not only Bangsa. I think you saw many people working here and there. They are a person with disability, but they are working very well, very nice, very good. Okay, we have to change our mentality. So if we change our mentality, Malaysia still they have unemployed people, but it's not, the percentage is not high like other countries. So you have still opportunity to include the disabled people in the mainstream. So if you can include, if you people can change your mind, if you people can think that, okay, who is able, who is disabled, it's not matter. According to the ability, according to the desire, If he is deserve this work, he is capable to work this work, he will do it. Okay. So if you can move forward like this, inshallah, I hope the poverty will disappear, inshallah, and the disabled people, they will feel better.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. So I hope that answers your question, Sister Nurul Hanim. Next, we have from Sister Azmina Aini. Assalamualaikum, Doctor. I may have missed out earlier points that you have mentioned, but how is the PWD's rate in Bangladesh? Is it high or low? Are they well taken care of actually compared to Malaysia?
Yeah, I mentioned already. So Bangladesh, it was 10%. You know, Malaysian 3% population from your population. You have 3%. I think if I am not wrong, the 800 thousand disabled people in Malaysia, and 400 something people already registered. Uh, 400,000, more than 400,000 already registered with your social welfare department as a disabled. If I talk about Bangladesh, 10%, you know, the number is, I think, around 10 million, like that, 10 million to 15 million. Even in Malaysia, not 1 million, you know. So the number is very high.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. So um, I think that is all for this evening. The questions and answer session. Okay, so we pass to our brother Fitri.
Yes, thank you for the viewers and also the guests for actually answering this beautiful question by these beautiful people. But now we are in the end of our session today, so we can conclude that there are a lot of things that we can learn from this webinar session. Now we know what is disability inclusion and how important it is for us in the community. We know what the government did for the disability people, and we know what kind of amendment that they have enacted in order to help these people. Now that we know all of that, we can actually be kind of happy because in Malaysia we have a very, very good system in terms of handling people with disability. And now back to you, Ahmad. What do you have?
Okay, thank you, Fitri, for the conclusion. So um, that is all for this webinar this evening. I would like. I am. I'm hopeful this. I'm hope this webinar could benefit all of us. Uh, Me, us, and all of the audience, because yeah, uh, we could by conducting this webinar we could increase more awareness about this particular issue, and we could learn more and dive deeper into this issue of end poverty and disability inclusion. And yeah, I hope we all receive that benefits from this webinar this evening. And I would like to thank all of our guests for this evening, because spend their time in joining this webinar this evening. I know some may of you is preparing for your iftar, and some may of you it is at the bazaar. So yeah, thank you so much because spend your time this evening in joining this webinar. And beside that, I would like to also thank to our most respectful guest, Dr. Muhammad Zaidul Islam, because accepting our request in becoming our guest for this webinar this evening. So thank you very much, Doctor.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
Okay, so that is all from us this webinar this evening. So yeah, I would like to wish happy iftar and salam Ramadan to all of you, and thank you because joining our webinar this evening. Assalamualaikum
Okay.
warahmatullahi
Thank
wabarakatuh.
you so much. Thank
Thank
you,
you, everyone.
everyone.
Thank you,
Okay,
Thank you,
guys.
thank
great.
you.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.